and welcome to yet another episode of the David Mammano Show, the number one show in the world for entrepreneurs, according to my mother. Thank you, Mom. Appreciate that. Hey, today in the show, I have a great guest. So excited. His name is Reid, and Del is the co-founder of the Bills Mafia. If you don't know about the Bills Mafia, you will know about the Bills Mafia by the end of the show, Buffalo Bills Mafia. We're going to learn how it got started many years ago by Del and some of his co-founders. And we're also going to learn a lot about what Del does for an actual living to make money, because the Bills Mafia is just kind of a fun thing, right? I don't think Del's making a lot of money off Bills Mafia, but I want to. Well, Del, first of all, welcome to the show. So happy to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been quite a while since we've had any kind of conversation like this, so I'm looking forward to it.
I know. We connected a lot. 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, whatever, and then COVID hit. And even though you're in Buffalo, I'm in Rochester. We really haven't connected in a while. So glad to reconnect and get an update. Because it's been a second. So as I said, we were talking before, Del, I usually don't read the printed bios of my guests because it's kind of mundane. But yours is so freaking awesome. I'm actually going to read it so our audience gets a real feel. And you gave your wife credit for writing this, right? That's why it's so good.
Well, she definitely put a lot of the polishing touches on it for sure. She made it sound good for sure.
Smart man. Behind every successful man is a surprised woman. All right. So if you guys want to get to know about Del, here it is. Del Reid is a passionate community advocate, entrepreneur, and lifelong Buffalo Bills fan. Born and raised in Western New York, he is the co-founder of the Bills Mafia movement and the visionary behind 26 Shirts. Del has harnessed the power of sports fandom to make a tangible and lasting impact on the lives of those in need. In 2011, along with Brian, am I saying that right? Breon Harris and Leslie Willie,
you got it.
There we go. He initiated the Bills Mafia movement on Twitter, which has grown into a dedicated online community of Buffalo Bills fans. Bills Mafia has become not only known for its unwavering support of the Buffalo Bills, but also for its philanthropic efforts, exemplifying the positive influence of sports fans coming together for a greater purpose. In 2013, Del took his passion for football and his desire to get back to the community to the next level by founding 26 Shirts. This innovative platform combines sports, fashion, and charity by designing limited edition Buffalo-themed apparel. Each shirt sold donates a portion to a specific beneficiary in need. Del's commitment to making a difference through 26 Shirts has resulted in substantial donations to various charities, helping countless individuals and families facing adversity. To date, 26 Shirts has raised nearly $2 million in donations for the community. By uniting fans under the banner of Bills Mafia and harnessing the power of passionate sports enthusiasts, Del has demonstrated the potential for sports fandom to drive positive change. However, his life goes beyond simply coining a fan base hashtag or running a charitable business. His faith is a factor behind the love and compassion that he desires to share with every person he meets. While he's proud of everything Bills Mafia has accomplished to date, he'll tell you that his most important thing in his life is his marriage to his wife, Chrissy, and their two beautiful daughters. Bam! Maybe the best bio I ever read. That's incredible.
Well, it's a long one. When you hear it read out loud, you're like, geez, this is really long.
Yeah, but it's worth it, And Del, damn you, I promised myself I wouldn't cry today. That's a damn good bio. So thank you. Thank you for doing what you're doing. You're such a great asset to Western New York, which is really a crazy place, right? I mean, Buffalo and Rochester and some of the southern tier really make up Western New York. And, it's just not me saying it. It's people all over the country. Like, we're kind of a special breed, right? Like we're especially when it comes to the Buffalo Bills, we're like, who breaks table? Who jumps on tables? Like we're fanatical, right? We're a little crazy. So
yeah. Well, quick disclaimer there, right? So I've never gone through a table. Everybody gets excited for a game however they want. I don't understand it. That kind of came after all this kind of happened, but to each their own. But yes, we are a different breed here in West New York.
Yeah, I saw, the last playoff game, even the broadcasters, was it the CBS broadcasters or Fox I forget what it was, but they were doing the table too, right? So
yeah, it's so funny because for all the Bills games I've gone to in my life, which are many, I've never seen a person go through a table. I've never witnessed. One time I saw it. It was a guy from out of town, and it wasn't even a Bills game. He was doing, like a little gimmick for a tour, but. It happens. I mean, there's video evidence. I've just never seen it in person.
Well, you must be in the tame part of the tailgating, right? Maybe there's a crazy section.
yeah, the elderly adjacent.
Right. So here we are. It's exactly 2 days after the Super Bowl, and just so everybody knows, we air these episodes in about a month in advance. So they're going to hear this a month after the Super Bowl, but here we are. 2 months after the Super Bowl. I think. I think it's safe to say most people are happy in Buffalo that Kansas City lost since they've beaten us a few times.
Yeah, it felt very cleansing, that's for sure. I mean, the whole narrative for the 2 weeks leading up to the game was that the Chiefs catch breaks from the referees. They get non-calls. They get phantom calls. And people will always say, well, look, they're penalized just as much as this team, or this team actually, has... But it was always the timing. It felt like the timing was always like the key thing. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I can completely see why somebody might start getting a little disillusioned and jaded with the way that it felt like the team was sometimes propped up. So it felt good. It felt good to see the game, called. And full disclosure, I only watched half of it. Because I went back and forth for 2 weeks. Am I going to watch this game? Am I not going to watch it? I think I'm going to watch it. And then a local bar near me was doing anything but the Super Bowl party. And so I was like, what the heck, why not? Because my neighbors and stuff were going. So I called them. I said, do you want to have like a 26 shirts like collaboration? So we did an Escape the Big Game party. And then started to like dwindle out around halftime. Like everybody was there like before the game, and like first half it was packed. And then it started to like slow down and dissipate. And at halftime I saw the score. I told my wife, because the two of us were there. I said, let's go home and watch the rest of this game.
Watch them get pounded, right?
I've been burned before. I remember the Patriots and the Falcons. I've been burned before.
Yeah, that's right.
This game appears to have some kind of different tone to it. So it felt good. It felt.
I did say, what was it, 40-something-0 or whatever, and I was like, don't count them out. I said, I remember the Patriots-Falcon game, like comebacks happen, right? So, but it was nice that they did not come back, and the refs were actually very fair.
There was like a minute. There was like a minute 40 left, and you have players on the Philadelphia sideline like pointing at like their ring finger and everything, and the Chiefs had just scored, and it's like, what was it, like 40-22 or whatever it was at that point. I'm
just wait, please.
I can see them get 8 points. I can see this, like, this would be the worst script ever.
I know.
For all of us non-Chiefs fans. But
we can celebrate the fact that Josh Allen is the MVP. So we did get a win this year. That was pretty exciting, and a lot of great quarterbacks out there, but this guy, not only is he a great player, but he just, seems like such a special guy. Always like, very graceful, very grateful, very humble, always thanking other people. In his MVP speech, he thanked like everybody, right? He was naming people on the staff in the locker room. He thanked the cafeteria staff, right? Mm-hmm. I'm like, this guy's amazing, right? what a nice guy. His parents raised him very well.
Yeah, Slick Rick in the mailroom.
That's right. Slick Rick in the mailroom. That was it.
So immediately we start getting people messaging us. You can do a Slick Rick in the mailroom T-shirt. I'm like,
there's got to be a T-shirt around there, right? Yeah,
probably. Obviously, it would get purchased if we did it for sure.
Right, for sure.
Josh Allen, just what an asset to not only our favorite football team, but the community. The work that he does at Oshai Children's Hospital in Buffalo, just the example he sets for kids. It sounds corny and it sounds like really, suburban dad or whatever, but it's so great when you have a player of that ability, of that stature on the football team, which is the main entertainment / for better or for worse, reason for living that people have in Western New York so often. All the attention is on this football team. It's so great to have such a model human and model citizen there at the front of it, because there's a lot of teams that have great players that are just jerks. You don't want your little kid looking up to Deshaun Watson or something like that. Just being real. And
right.
So like talented player, at least he used to play talented, hasn't really much since he got to Cleveland, but it's just great to have a human like Josh Allen in the position that he's in.
Yeah. And I know, obviously from your bio, and I just know you about your dedication to God and very religious, and the fact that a lot of the players, when they got up there, they thank God first, and Josh Allen thanks God, right? In the beginning and the end. And it's so nice. It's so nice to hear that right there, that they're not taking, a lot of these players are not taking their talent for granted, And what I also love about Josh is that he's very clear. He's not going anywhere. Like his mission is to get Buffalo a Super Bowl, right? And so he and God willing that is true and it holds, but I believe anybody can do it. It's Josh Allen and this whole team, and just
absolutely.
Just imagine the city. I'm going to say when it happens, right? So
I can't. I've done had conversations or interviews or whatever. Like, what's going to be like for Buffalo to win Super Bowl? Like, I have no idea. I have a mental block. In my brain, there's like something there. I cannot think past it.
Yeah.
So,
I went to
see what's on the other side.
I went to University of Buffalo, and part of it, the end of it was, the beginning of the 4 years in their Super Bowl, right? And not winning. So I'm with you. There is a block there, 4 years in a row of getting massively excited and then being let down. So there's a block, but I'm chipping away at that block. I feel like the floodgates are going to open, and that when the Bills win the Super Bowl, I think the government in Buffalo might have to shut down the city for like a week, like schools, like everything. It'd be like we get it, just do your thing, right?
Right, yeah. That's you may not be far off from it.
So for our audience here, I want to go back to the beginning of the Bills Mafia, right? Because the Bills Mafia is, I don't think any other team has something like this, right? I mean, this is it's like the most intense, feverish, fanatic fan base that any team has that I've ever seen, right? And the Bills Mafia, and you and your two other co-founders there kind of just started this by accident, right? You weren't trying to start a movement, right? Mm-hmm. So tell us the story about how the Bills Mafia got its start.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers to it, so I'll try to make it like as brief yet comprehensive as possible. So in 2010, Stevie Johnson dropped a would-be touchdown pass from Ryan Fitzpatrick against the defending AFC champion Pittsburgh Steelers. Bills end up losing that game. Stevie goes on Twitter that night and basically questions his faith. I don't know if he blamed God, but it was like, how could you do me like this? Twitter was really young back then. So everything that was kind of happening for the first time. So for a professional athlete to kind of question his faith and stuff, like you mentioned a few moments ago, they always praise him when something great has happened, but this is the other end of it. So, it just kind of like made the rounds on local national media, and the Bills weren't that good back then. So the only time they made the national media is if they're on the wrong side of a highlight reel from some player catching a touchdown pass or making an interception. So Stevie's name and that game is highlighted for like 24 hours straight. And then you fast forward to the next day and Adam Sandler. Adam Schefter.
Love Adam Sandler.
Yeah. Big fan if you're listening, Adam. Adam Schefter retweets Stevie's tweet, which in Twitter time is like a year later. So, a bunch of us oversensitive Bills fans started teasing Adam Schefter about it. And he's making fun. And Breon, who you mentioned a moment ago, one of my co-founders, came up with this hashtag Schefter breaking news. And we just started tweeting old news items, hashtag Schefter breaking news, eventually turns into like man discovers fire, hashtag Schefter breaking news. And the funny thing is, the irony is that like all NFL information flows through Adam. So the fact that, you know, you hear almost all the news that happens, you hear it from Adam first. So, and so for him to share something that was, you know, a day old, it was just kind of like, it was funny. And we were being told, you know, we're sensitive and, you know, ridiculous about it, but we were having fun with it and, you know, who cares? He ends up blocking a bunch of us.
Oh.
And we, so we're like, oh, geez, blocked by Adam Schefter. I guess he's, you know, really upset him. So fast forward like 6 months, and it's the week leading up to the draft. And Twitter used to have this tradition called Follow Friday, where you would recommend people you follow to people that follow you. So I recommended a bunch of us that had gotten blocked by Adam, and I said follow the Bills Mafia, because it was like a tongue-in-cheek joke, like, oh, we're such bad people, like we made a joke. And I always say, to the best of my knowledge, there was no nasty. It wasn't nasty. We were teasing him. Like, there wasn't anything like, you effing suck or something. None of that I saw, at least, you know. So it just felt like a little bit of an overreaction on his part. So I make that joke and just like basically fire off the tweet, close my phone, and go on for the rest of the day. And then find out like everybody starts using this term and making, you know, like, this is hilarious, blah, 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 you know. And then that whole summer, it just kind of like continued to grow and get used more and more and more. And then eventually the Bills players started using it. And then the local media started using it. And then the national media started using it. And then fast forward to 2020, 9 years later, and the team adopted it as the name of the fan base, basically. So that's as short as I can tell the story. But it's just a joke that went viral. And throughout the midst of it, we just continued to use it as an opportunity to fundraise for local charities and stuff. We were trying to, you know, make money off it. We were doing T-shirts, but we were giving the, you know, the profits to, you know, nonprofits, and we were doing tailgates, no tables, and with like, you know, basket raffles and stuff like that once or twice a year. So so that's like I said, as quick and comprehensive as I can give it.
Well, what's cool about that story too is to the Buffalo Bills' credit, you know, because you guys were probably walking the fine line of trademark infringement, right? But the Bills organization didn't like clamp down on you. They kind of embraced you because they realized that this was a viral movement supporting them. Yeah.
And I had conversations through the years with the team leading up to that to 2020 when they eventually wanted to adopt it and kind of make it their own. And they were always very constructive, and they would help me. They would say like, here, don't do this, but look what these people are doing, and you can kind of mimic that. And so they were very, very helpful along those lines. And, you know, so to this day, we have a good relationship with them because we were just open and transparent the entire time. And now with 26 shirts, I've had opportunities to work with them as well. It's always like, hey, listen, I'm not here trying to be a shyster. I'm not trying to take advantage of anything. I'm not, like, because 26 shirts, we're here for the long haul. Bills Mafia, we're here for the long haul. We're not trying to just like throw up a t-shirt, make some quick money, and wait till we get yelled at and then take it down. Like we're trying to make sure that we're following all the rules as we do all these different fundraising efforts.
Yeah. But it never really was like a formal legal organization or I mean, you never got a nonprofit or did you?
We did. Yeah. We actually, we created, in 2013, we created a Buffalo fan base, like FAM, like family, because we were doing these tailgates and stuff. And I didn't want that money running through my bank account. We want to keep everything, you know, transparent on the up and up. So the, you know, there's no confusion about like what's going on. And, so we had a nonprofit. It still exists to this day. You know, I stepped down, Brianna stepped down, but Leslie's still on the board. And that is now used, if you've heard of the Mafia Babes, the all-female group on Facebook and all their charitable efforts. They've taken the leadership of that nonprofit. So all their goals were exactly the same. So they're able to keep all the same bylaws and everything. Like we just stepped out, and Buffalo Fan Base began, handling all of the Mafia Babes fundraising efforts.
Awesome. And then the Buffalo Bills just took that over. So that organization over?
So the name, not the organization. No, that's completely separate. Like I said, that's Buffalo Fan Base. So we never used the term Bills Mafia.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
But the term Bills Mafia, people always say like, well, why did you trademark it? I'm like, dude, you can't trademark something that has another trademark in it. Like you can't do Bills Mafia. You can't do McDonald's dudes or Walmart fans. It's got like the team name in there. And that's more proof that like we never planned this, because I wouldn't have used the team name. I wouldn't have used the term mafia. I mean, I know everybody loves it, and it's hilarious. That's why I use it. But I probably would have done like Buffalo football fans, yay, or something. You know what I mean? So you want it to be as generic
Bills
as
fanatics.
possible, so you're not pissing people off, right? So. And to this day, I still get letters from people like complaining about the name Mafia, and at this point, I'm just like, dude, take it up with the Bills, take it up with the NFL. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's like the cat's out of the bag.
Just relax. How funny. No, that is awesome. And what are some of the examples? I know you talked. I want to get to 26 shirts right after this, but. With the Bills Mafia, you've raised a lot of money, right? Very, very involved with charitable causes. What are some examples of some of the causes that Bills Mafia has raised money for that you're really proud of?
Yeah, well, at this point now, there's a lot of things I'm proud of, but I can't take credit for them because it's more of the Bills fans in general using the name Bills Mafia that this has become almost like a trend or a meme that just ever since. Well, like I said, we did our fundraiser tailgates, so we always did our best to make sure that Bills Mafia was associated with fundraising and giving back. I was called looking out for your fellow fan. That end of things, and not just the table jumping and the craziness and all that. But in 2017, January 2018, a gentleman named Kevin Forrest, a Bills fan in Grand Island, Nebraska, not Grand Island, New York, had the idea to donate $17 to Andy Dalton's nonprofit when he threw the touchdown pass against the Ravens that basically pushed the Bills into the playoffs, broke the 17-year drought. And so he said, I just donated $17 to Andy Dalton's, foundation as a thank you. And everybody knows the story about what happened there. They ended up raising like $500,000 or whatever it was for Andy Dalton's donation, and that just became a thing. And so when it comes along, I always try to make sure that I'm like, first of all, part of it. Second of all, like doing everything I can in my power to promote the effort. But, credit where it's due. That was Kevin's baby. And then just other things that, happened along the way. I remember later that year, NBC Sports Chicago, because the Bills were playing the Bears that year, made fun of Bills Mafia and called us the laughing stock of the NFL. And so kind of as a retort, we donated what turned into like $25,000 to a children's cancer charity in Chicago. So that's kind of been like the trend. Like if somebody pisses you off or something good happens, something bad happens, whatever, we give, because at the end of the day, there's people in need of help, and let's just use this as a way to express our fandom and our love for the team.
Kill them with kindness. It's tough to continue to be mean to somebody when they're doing something nice for you, right?
Somehow they find a way. Find a way to.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. And this year,
so that's what I'm most proud of. Yeah,
I'm having a brain fart, but this year, someone on one of the other teams made a big mistake, and the Bills Mafia felt bad for him and donated a lot to the charity. Do you remember what that was?
Yeah, it was just a month ago, 3 weeks ago. Mark Andrews for the Ravens. He had a fumble, and then he dropped a 2-point conversion that would have tied the game for the Ravens against the Bills in the playoffs. And his charity was for type 1 diabetes, and we all started donating towards that. So
that's right.
Yeah, it's really cool. And there's like 10 other examples I could give you where just this has happened, and I'm so proud of that. Like that's the calling card when people think of Bills fans, they think of a group of people that love their team so much 12 months out of the year.
Yeah.
But also they think of this charitably minded group of folks that look for every opportunity to share love both locally and nationally.
Yeah. And I think it's just a reflection of people from Western New York. Like we're
absolutely,
we want to win. We're very competitive. But we'll love you to death too, right? So,
absolutely, that's true. I mean, because Buffalo's called the city of good neighbors, and I always say it's not like some phrase like the city of brotherly love, not to throw shade anywhere, but like truly is like the city of good neighbors. Everywhere you go, you see fundraisers going on, you see benefit events at the local fire hall on driving past it on a Saturday or whatever. There's always something going on, and so that as part of our community DNA is naturally expressed through our love of our football team, which is really cool because now you have people who are Bills fans that have never set foot in Western New York, but through the power of social media, now they're starting to get that mindset and that thought process, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I love Buffalo. I mean, I graduated UB way back in 91, and I applied. I was going to be in radio at the time, so I applied to every radio station in Buffalo and Rochester. And I'm like, because I'm from Rochester, I'm like, wherever I end up. And I got the job first in Rochester. Otherwise, I would still be in Buffalo probably. So it's a great food, great people, and I love it. And we like to think Rochester is your younger brother, or favorite cousin. So
well, we all got garbage plates, which we don't have. So respect there.
Yeah, you guys have obviously the home of wings and some other great food. Beef on weck. Love beef on weck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we got the garbage plate. I don't know. So you guys are, what would you say, what's your tagline? Neighborly love?
No, the City of Good Neighbors.
City of Good Neighbors, right. City of Good Neighbors. I don't know if Rochester has a tagline. I mean, I probably should know. Maybe we're the city of the garbage plate, which is not as attractive as yours.
Better than the City of Garbage. I mean,
we are the Flower City.
Isn't it but is the Flower City? Yeah, the Flower City.
We are the Flower City, but I mean, it used to be because of flowers, right? We have back in the day we would produce, we have the Lilac Festival, and there was all these other flower nurseries here, and we were a big exporter of flowers. But first, before that, it was actually like because it was found on a huge this waterfall called High Falls. We actually would produce flour for baking, right? And so it originally was.
I always got confused which flour it was.
It was the Flower City, as in baking flour, and then it became like the flour, smells good flour, and became that. So I think we're still the Flower City. I heard we used to be called like the image capital because of Kodak, right? But maybe we're just a city of the garbage plate. Maybe we need to change that. Just come to terms with our most famous.
Don't lose the garbage plate. Change the name. That's fine, but don't lose it, please. Love those things. So bad. I love them.
So your charity and great things move on. I mean, you're such an example of a man who lives with purpose in purpose of helping others. Not only talking the talk, but walking the walk with everything that you do. And then, so tell us about 26 shirts. I know that, even in the bio, you've raised over $2 million by selling shirts for the Buffalo community. So tell us more about that.
Yeah. So in 2013, so a couple years into the Bills Mafia having taken off, we were constantly getting requests like, hey, can you share this fundraiser? Can you help with this or that, people looking for retweets and shares and stuff like that. And in October of 2013, a gentleman reached out and said, hey, can you share this raffle that I'm doing online? And he was raffling off a Mario Williams jersey, an autographed Mario Williams jersey, which back then was really cool. And he had won it from Summer Sanders, who is a gold medal Olympian swimmer who's also a Bills fan. And, as much as I love sports and the Bills, like I'm not really a memorabilia guy. There's certain things here or there that like I have that mean something to me, but like I don't just collect cards or collect this or collect that or jerseys or whatever. If I have a jersey, I'm probably gonna wear it, Mm-hmm. But this was like different. Okay, there's some story to this item. So I asked him like, all right, so you want us to share this raffle? Like this is autographed jersey has a kind of a cool story, to it. Can you please explain, what's your motivation here? And he goes on to tell me about his daughter who has a condition called retinoblastoma, eye cancer, basically 2 years old. Family's from Olean. At that point now, they're then living in North Carolina. She's getting her treatment at Sloan Kettering. So they're having to travel like whatever the period of time was, I forget, like 6 weeks or whatever, from North Carolina to Sloan Kettering so she can get her chemotherapy treatment like applied to her eye. She'd already lost one eye. She's in danger of losing the other one. And so I'm reading this story, and he has two daughters. I have two daughters. You immediately just empathize perfectly with the situation. And
sure.
So I'm reading it. I was like, yeah, dude, absolutely. I will retweet your tweet. No problem.
Yeah.
But then as I thought about it more and more, I was like, there's got to be an opportunity here where I can do something for this family. And I used to go to this men's like Bible study accountability group on Mondays, and it was a Monday in August October, and just sharing this story, and just I wish I could do more, and we're just talking and stuff, and we had this idea, like I think I could sell like shirts to help, this situation, because even though we're in the middle of a playoff drought, like the fandom doesn't stop. Like we are still rabid for this team after all these years. And I was like, not only can I do a shirt to support this family, but like I could probably, there's so many that I hear about, in the area that need help. I could probably do like a different one every week. And then my buddies were like, slow down. All right. You got a full-time job, married, you got 2 kids, I said, okay, fine, I get it. But I could probably do one every 2 weeks. Just knowing my schedule and as long as I can get the artwork and stuff. And my buddy Jake, which he goes, dude, that's like, I said, I'll do it for like a year, my buddy goes, dude, that's like 26 shirts. And I was like, yeah, I think I could do it. Wake up the next morning and it's all I could think about was 26 shirts, 26 shirts, 26 shirts. So thankfully it's a weird name. So I was able to get the domain and the Twitter handles and Facebook names and all that. Put out a big blog post on the Bills Mafia site explaining my idea. And I always call it my Jerry Maguire moment, in that movie. He puts out his mission statement. He ends up getting fired from his job, changes his life. I didn't get fired, but I started having immediate accountability where all of a sudden...
You fired yourself eventually.
Well, that's a story there too. But I had all these people reaching out, artists wanting to contribute artwork, people looking for help. The local media or the local news reached out, wanted to do a story about it. So like all of a sudden it was like bang, 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 bang. All these happened. I was like, dude, it was just a blog post, I think the name of it was, I want to sell you 26 shirts. I think that was the name of the blog post, if I remember right. Mm-hmm. And a couple days later, somebody reached out to me and said, hey, who's printing these shirts? And I was like, I don't know, I haven't got that far. I don't know, probably like just some online thing. And it was usually like a company called Teespring back then. And it was the guy that reached out to me, it was somebody I just had lunch with like a month or two before. He was starting a shirt company, and I just gave him a couple, Bills related, Mafia designs that he could use, good luck with all that, take care. So he reaches back out to me. He's like, who's printing them? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, can we? I'm like, yes, absolutely. Let's do it. So it all kind of happened real quickly. So, that was on Monday that I was talking with my buddies. Saturday, I'm doing a news report out in front of the stadium talking about how on Monday we're launching this shirt to help, Amber, and can't show you the artwork yet. It's going to be a surprise. You'll see it on Monday. That time I didn't have the artwork from the artist yet. I didn't actually building out the website.
You surprised everybody, including me.
Yeah, exactly. But it was one of those things where like, as things are moving along, you just see it coming together. Do you know what I mean? You just know it's going to happen. Yeah. And so we launched it on, that Monday, I think it was like November 11th. Mm-hmm. I don't remember what day it was exactly. Catch me on the right day, I'll know the answer. But in 2013, so that was my 1 year community service project, which I'm now 11 plus years into. In 2015, I used to work at Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center as a web developer. In 2015, I got laid off from my position and had the opportunity to post for another position because of the union and everything. But I felt like I was driving to the wrong building every day at that point. And so, with my amazing wife, we took a couple days and we figured it out and decided to join Dan, who was the gentleman that owned that shirt company, and joined him as a 50% owner of that shirt company because 26 Shirts had pretty much taken over everything that the company was doing. Right. And just hit the ground running. So, and here we are, and then 2021, I ended up buying Dan out, and now it's just, got a great team with me, and we're just trying to do our best to crush it.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And what is thank you for that. I mean, you have a lot of unplanned successes, right? These little things.
My entire life is unplanned. Everything. We launch something at any given moment, like we'll launch something on the website, and it's always phrased like we knew what we were doing. We had this whole idea, like now we're finally releasing it. It's like normally we thought about it like a day ago. So.
Yeah, you defy like every business class, right? Like MBA classes are shaking their heads at you, like what? Like no plan, right? Just kind of like, oh, here's an idea, and then But I think part of it was it's all started with like goodness, right? Doing something really, really good for the community, the world. Do you remember your first design? Do you remember that? I mean, if you had any memorabilia, that might be like the shirt to put on your wall, right? So,
yeah, that was a shirt that supported Amber. It was called Flash 88. It was based on Marquise Goodwin, a former wide receiver for the Bills. I think he was a second or third round pick in 2013. So yeah, we sold 98 of those shirts and raised some money for Amber, and it's kind of what started it all.
Yeah, beautiful. Do you still have that shirt? Did you save one for yourself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have the first. I used to save every single shirt we did, and to the point where like my wife one point was up in the attic. She's like, "What are all these bins?" I was like, "Oh, it's this shirt." She's like, "No, we're not doing this." So I was able to compare, and she's right. Especially at the rate that we fire shirts out now, it's like sometimes 2 or 3 a week, as opposed to one every 2 weeks. And so I said, all right, so we compromised. I have the first 2 years, volume 1, volume 2. I have every single one of those shirts. So eventually I'll make like some kind of display for the office here. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I want to also too, like a lot of people, listening to the show are people that have thought about starting businesses, entrepreneurial, people that have dreamed about being an entrepreneur. And I love what you just said. You just said, like, I always felt like I felt like I was driving to the wrong building. I've never heard that before. That's fantastic. It was like, so kind of like listening to your soul, right? God is talking to you, like, you're going to the wrong place, buddy, right? And so I don't know if you said that before, but that really hit home because I know a lot of people, in fact, I've been in situations where the same thing, like, good people, whatever it is, but I'm driving to the wrong building. So that was something. So.
Yeah. One thing I always tell people, you talking about other entrepreneurs or, aspiring entrepreneurs. If you can see yourself doing anything other than this idea that you have for a business, then you should not be pursuing that idea. You should not be, if you do not see yourself as anything but a business owner, then you should not be a business owner because this is not easy. A lot of sleepless nights. A lot of nights where you're sleeping great and all of a sudden 3 a.m. your eyes pop open, you forgot about an email or you start thinking about something.
Payroll, that's always fun.
Payroll, rent, all that stuff. So if it's not going to be your life mission to see this through, then you're probably going to end up misemploying yourself.
Yep. No, very good advice. Well, Del, you are a massive inspiration to not only Western New York, but the world. Thank you so much for sharing some heartbeats with me today. Very much appreciated. So glad you were born. Thank your parents for me. Because you're, what would Buffalo be? What would Western New York be without Del Reid? So thank you for that.
It'd get by.
I hope to, when we're in mid-February right now, and we're anticipating another snowstorm tomorrow. And this has been we've gotten lucky the past few winters. It's been, I've called it like North Carolina winters. We get a little snow, it melts, no big deal. Maybe the past 2 or 3 winters. This winter, it's kind of like an old-fashioned winter, right? Snow on the ground, it's staying, it's building. Over a month now, we're going to get another snowstorm tonight, I guess. But I'm saying that because when the snow subsides and there's no more storms, I'll kind of Buffalo, and why don't we go out for some great wings and beef on weck, and we'll catch up as friends.
I love it. And then I'll circle back in a few months after that, and we'll get a garbage plate.
Then you come back. I love that idea.
Perfect.
Del, so 26shirts.com, and if people want to learn more about you, contact with you, what's the best way to do it?
Yeah, just Del at 26shirts.com. Not the most original email address, but it works.
It works. Keep it simple. The KISS technique. Keep it simple, silly, right?
Keep it, sure.
I say silly. We try to be nice here,
Yeah, it's a family-friendly podcast. Sure.
Exactly.
But then also just at Del Reid on Twitter and at Del Reid 26 everywhere else.
Excellent. Well, Del, thank you so much. I wish you continued massive success, and thanks for doing what you're doing. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you for the invite. It's always a pleasure.
Absolutely. And thank you, everybody, for watching and or listening to The David Mammano Show. Hey, go to davidmammano.com. You can learn more about what I do and how I can help your business with speaking, retreats, etc. And you can sign up for my newsletter, or you can just send me an email and say, hello, I love you, Dave. I love the podcast. Or if you want to say something mean, just don't. We don't accept those emails get blocked. But thanks again, Dale. Thanks for everybody. Have a great day and make sure to stay awesome.